Okay, we're back to worksheet 5. We're going to go over numbers 26 through 29. And what we're doing is we want to simplify and determine whether each one of these four expressions here is going to be equivalent to the expression 8x to the power of 5/4. Okay, so really what we're doing is we're comparing and we're contrasting each one of these four expressions here, and then we're trying to see if they're equivalent to that expression right there, which means we're trying to see, are they equal to 8x to the 5/4 power. Okay, so the very first one, number 26, what you should notice is that we have x to the 5/4 power, and here we have x to the 5/4 power. So those two parts match up, the variable and the 5/4 parts match up. But here we have an 8, and here we have a 16 to the 3/4 power. So what you want to do in number 26 is you want to take this 16 to the 3/4 power, and you want to change it into a radical. So it would have an index of 4 with a radicand of 16 with a exponent of 3. And then you want to simplify this to see what happens and see if it comes out and turns out to be 8. So let's see what happens here. So I'm going to factor tree 16 into 4 and 4 and 2 and 2. And then I'm going to take my radical with the 16 in it with an index of 4, and that means 16 becomes 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. But because the exponent is 3, that means I'm going to have 3 2 times 2 times 2 times 2's in my radical. Okay, now to simplify, since my index is 4, I'm looking for 4 identical numbers. So you can see I have 4 identical 2's, I have a second set of 4 identical 2's, and I have a third set of 4 identical 2's, which means all of those will go to the outside. So on the outside, I'm going to have a 2, and I'm going to have it to the third power. So 1, 2, 3 sets of 2's. 2 to the third power is equal to 8. Okay, so what that tells me is that 16 to the 3/4 power, that part right there, is actually 8. All right, so that part is actually 8. I'll put it right there. And then we have x to the 5/4 power. So this expression here is exactly equivalent to, it's equal to that expression right there. So we're going to put a check mark there for yes. Okay, number 27, you can see the x and the exponent of 5/4 match up, so those match up, but then we want an 8 as the coefficient. This is a 16, so there is no way that, excuse me, these two expressions are the same. So this is no. Okay? In number 28, what we have is we have an 8, and then we have a radical with an index of 4 and a radicand of x to the 5th power. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this into nothing but exponential form. Okay, so the 8 would just stay an 8, and then to change the x part into exponential form, I'm going to take the radicand, make it the base, and then it's going to have a fraction for an exponent, 5/4. And you can see that that expression is exactly equivalent to that expression, so number 28 is going to be yes. Okay, on number 29, this entire value right here is in radical form. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change it into exponential form. Okay. Now, since the 8x to the 5th power is to the index of 4, I have to think of this problem as 8 to the 1st power and x to the 5th power. And then I'm going to change both of these into exponent form. So this would become 8 to the 1/4 power, and that x part would become x to the 5/4 power. Okay, comparing it to my original problem that I'm comparing it to, 8x to the 5/4 power, you can see the x's match up, but the 8's don't, because that has a 1/4 power and that does not. So number 29 would be no.